everyone, welcome back to my channel. Carol here at Doghouse Journals. I'm going to do the Stitch Circle Show Challenge being hosted by Lisbeth Degn. Details in the description box below the video if it's new, a new challenge to you. And I'm going to do week 30, and this week we have a theme. We have an ocean theme. So the first Dogma rule was to have 3 pieces of fabric in colours that reminded you of the ocean or that were like the ocean. So I've got this piece of fabric here out of my stash, which is called Shell Rummel. Whoops, bits everywhere. which is called Shell Rummel. So I'm going to rip off a piece of that. I'm probably going to rip it across the selvage here and make use of these because I think these look like shells. So I'm going to have a piece of that. And fortuitously, in amongst my stash, I've got this fabric. Now, I bought this for a cover for an ocean themed journal. I've already used a portion of it for something else. So I'm going to rip a couple of pieces of this and join it together. So I'm going to get on and do that, and then I'll come back. So I've got my 3 pieces of fabric here, and what I originally thought was I'd have that bit at the bottom and then this bit, that bit a little bit higher up like that, and this bit overlaid at the bottom. This is the size of my journal pages, so as you can see my circle is only just going to hit that. So I'm going to dispense with that, and I'm just going to have that piece at the bottom, join these 2 together, and I think my circle will just come underneath there, which I can use that line there to anchor my stitches on for the seaweed. So I'm going to dispense with the first Dogma rule by only having 2 pieces of fabric joined together, not 3, but I think that's fine. It's only my little journal, so it doesn't really matter, and I've got, in essence, the rules. So I'm going to go to my sewing machine and I'm going to machine stitch these 2 pieces of fabric together along that crease there, trim that away, and then I'll come back ready to trace my circle. So I've got my fabric stitched together across here. As you can see, I've got Bondaweb holding that down as well, and Bondaweb on the back because I'm using that to attach these into my little journal. I've got my usual Sweet Poppy dimensional paste, which I use to draw my circle, and I'm just going to plonk it in the middle, and I want the bottom edge to come slightly below this line here, so it's going to be lower than normal. So I'm just going to try and position that, try and get it roughly centre, and again go in with my Frickson marker pen all the way around to create my circle, because that was the second Dogma rule, was to trace a circle onto your fabric and then outline it with either running stitch, double running stitch, or back stitch. Well, you know me, I'm going to use my back stitch because I love doing back stitch. So I'm going to do split back stitch, a little bit over to the left hand side, but that's good enough for me. Now that I've drawn my circle, the third Dogma rule, which is the stitch, is to use knotted feather stitch and to create the look of seaweed. So that's why I wanted this line to act as an anchor, almost as the bottom of the ocean for me. And the fourth Dogma rule is our thread colour, and that is any shades of green, or as many shades of green as you want, and random thickness of threads. So I'm going to go and lift out my DMC threads and see what I've got that will come up with a bluey green, because my my little Dogma journal is predominantly blue, and I want something that's going to be bluey green to tie in. So let me see what I can find. Okay, so I've lifted out some threads. These are all very soft pastely shades of green. These are DMCs, those 4. These are 12 weight perlés, and this one is variegated. In fact, they're all variegated. That might be a 6 weight actually. Yeah, that looks like a 6 weight, and these are two 12 weight. I'm going to use this one definitely because it's got some tones of blue in there. I'm going to use that one because that's another weight. Not sure whether I'm going to use those. This one I'll probably pop away, and I'm wondering whether, let me just move those over, I'm wondering whether to introduce, say, one of these aqua blues down here. Let's have a look. Oh, what about that one? Now that's an aqua bluey colour. That would work. That is a real blue, and it would pick up that tone beautifully. A little bit dark though. That looks the same colour as this one, but it's a lighter weight pearly. I need to work in a thicker one, don't I? That's too dark. What else have I got? Probably nothing else, and that's very dark. Okay, I think I'm going to work with those colours. Whether I introduce that one or not, I don't know. We'll see. That one, no, it's too dark, Carol. That's no better. And these are the two I've just lifted up and put away. Maybe, yeah, I think I'm going to go with those shades. Just introduce a tiny little bit of that one. Okay, so that's my choice. Might include that one. We'll see. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Those are my thread colours. First off, I'm going to pick one of these colours, and I'm going to do my split back stitch for round the outside of my circle to define it. So this is the stranded cotton, the 1062 that I used to outline my circle. So a couple of close-up photographs here to let you see what it looks like. Then I use my Frixion marker pen and draw some random lines to imitate seaweed, trying to ground it on that bottom marking on the fabric. So I go in with some perlé cotton here and do a couple of lines in the perlé cotton. Then I go in with a second colour, only had a little bit of this left, and then I go in with the silk thread in the dark green. There you go, you can see the difference in thickness of the threads there. And then I go in with a lighter colour of the silk thread. And then finally with a couple of strands of DMC stranded cotton. And this is what my finished piece looks like. So I've got various weights in the perlé, I've got the silk cotton, and I've got the DMC thread in 2 strands of that to give my thickness or random thickness in thread weight. And this is my finished piece. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and take care, and hope to see you next week. Bye bye now.